Hi yogis, it's me, Vicki. Welcome back. Level 2 today. Today I have a treat for you. We're going to be practicing half moon balance. Half moon balance is a tricky pose, and it's hard to learn, and it takes practice, practice, practice. So today we are going to practice that. So you're welcome to do any portion of this practice against or near a wall if you prefer. So that would be up to you. Yoga practice takes a lot of courage, just like our lives. Our lives take a lot of courage. It's tough, right? Especially now, but always, it's tough to be alive. We need that internal courage, and yoga helps us bring that out. But courage requires a body and mind in balance. So you will see a lot of balance today, not just half moon, but in general. This practice is a little balancy, which is good for all of us. Reminder too, as we get started today, in the lower corner of your screen, you might see a picture of me. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, just hover over that and click it. You will then receive notifications of any videos that I do in the future. So level 2 today, enjoy. Let's start in child pose. Take your time, toes at the back of the mat. Hips drawn towards heels, arms stretched out long. Feel free to take the knees a tiny bit wider to make room for your belly if you'd like to do that, or if you just need a little more hip opening. Settling the forehead towards earth, allow yourself to breathe about 6 or 7 breaths. Let the inhale fill the back part of your body, opening up the back ribs. Let the exhale calm you today. No matter what you're going through, just trying to tap into our courage, and that's so hard sometimes, isn't it? So yoga helps us practice that. Observe your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Notice right now if you're feeling cool or very warm, depending on the temperature of the room that you're in and how much you've done before you came to the mat today. On your next breath, when you feel ready, we'll do some gentle movement, and you can take this as gentle or as vigorous as you'd like to. Arms stretched out long. Inhaling, lifting heels up, or hips up away from heels. Let's find our knee down plank pose. I will call this assisted plank, bringing the heart forward, wrists under shoulders, belly tight. Exhale back to child. We'll flow back and forth with breath, inhaling, coming forward, and exhaling, coming back. Taking this as slowly as you'd like, so if you want to take a break in between a couple of these movements, feel free. Inhaling, drawing forward, exhaling, drawing back. Some of you might want a little more here. If you do, if you feel that you can handle it, inhale forward. Exhale a little bit lower with bent elbows, and inhale to a little cobra pose there with the hips dropped. Exhaling back to child. So that's a little option to take it a little more. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling little cobra, and exhaling back. Let's move through maybe 2 more or 3 more at our own pace. Some of you may be taking your break in child pose. That's fine. This is just a way of warming our bodies, preparing us for a little bit more work today. If you're still going through these sequences, let's make this perhaps our last one and end up back in our child. Relax there. Good, one more breath. Inhaling, floating to your table posture. All fours position on knees and hands. Take a moment to adjust your alignment as if your back has made a strong table with 4 strong legs. Let's move through an inhale to cow pose and an exhale to cat back. We'll do 4 more. Let your spine just be free here. Moving from extension to flexion. From inhale to exhale. You might hear the sound of your own breathing if your room is quiet, or perhaps you're listening to a little music there. Coming inward, just enjoying this gentle movement of the body. And know that these simple movements help us to stay in balance, mind and body. Cultivating our internal courage. Can we come back to neutral spine here? Option to rest in child for a moment or simply to stay here. One more breath, whatever you're doing, and we'll meet back in table if you rested in child. A little thread the needle flow for our shoulders today. Let's pick up the right hand and lift the elbow to the sky, shifting our gaze to the right. Exhale, bring that hand underneath the left armpit. Just tap the fingernails there and then come back up. Inhaling, twisting. Exhaling, just tap down and slide through. One more. Inhale. Exhale. This one, slide the arm through. If you have availability, drop the shoulder all the way down to the ground. Side of the head or face would be on the ground as well. Breathing. Keeping hips above knees as much as possible. So you can, if you open your eyes, you might see that other hand, that left hand next to your face. When you're ready, a little courage to inhale, press up and back to table. Let's try the opposite side, the left elbow up in the air. Exhale, slide the hand and arm through, just tapping the fingernails there. Inhaling up again and exhaling through. One more time, inhale, twisting it out. Exhaling, slide the arm through, drop the shoulder, relax the side of your face for your thread the needle pose. Breathing. Letting the benefits of that stretch through your shoulder just come into your whole upper body there. Noticing that right hand next to your face, a little courage as we press in and up, back to table. Beautiful job. Let's rest back in our child for 2 breaths. Relax, relax, relax. Let the world pause for just a moment while you're here on your mat. Nothing is as important as you. Balancing your mind and body. On your next breath, lifting the heels up. Can we tuck the toes, shift the weight for downward facing dog. The knees lift off the mat. Allow any movement in the legs that you need, maybe bending the knees, lifting the hips up, or any single leg movement. that you'd like to take. Sometimes just bringing the chest towards the thighs will lift the hips up to get that nice stretch at the top of the hamstrings. Let's stay still for 2 more breaths here. Allow your neck to relax, your shoulders to open, drawing shoulders back and down. Exhale. Good. Now slowly walking your feet to your hands. So forward fold at the front of our mat here. Keeping, again, the pose gentle. Some of you may be bending your knees, bringing your chest a little more towards your thighs. I might recommend that for tight hamstrings, right? Tight lower back. Now on your next breath, draw the belly in, engage the back of your legs, and inhale, rise, reverse hip hinge your body, bring yourself up. Arms come up overhead if you can, to tall extended mountain pose. Then let's bring the arms around and back to the heart center. I'm going to face you. You can stay facing the direction that you were. We'll try and stretch through these side bodies with some lateral stretches. Before we do that, if your hands are not at heart center, take a moment to put them there and maybe let your thumbs touch your own heart with the head bowed. Sometimes when we practice yoga, if we're new to it, we're thinking, why are we always bringing hands to heart? I don't want to do that. This is a devotion really to self, self-devotion. So we end some movement sometimes with this mudra or hand position of the palms together and the thumbs at the heart. Devotion to self. Good. Now let's drop the arms and inhale up. You can touch the hands if you'd like. Then dropping your left arm down, taking that right arm up and over for a nice little stretch through the side of your body. Keep the hips heavy, the legs, the feet grounded. Inhale, opposite arm up. And we'll do the same thing over here. Just melt in, breathe. Good. Adding on to this, inhale up. Exhale, opposite arm down again. Your head could turn as an option towards the upper arm. Maybe a couple of you watching might bend that upper elbow. Tap the fingers down behind the neck. A little more opening. Release that arm back up. Inhale up again. Exhale, opposite side. The head can turn if you wish, and maybe the elbow to bend, fingers touching. Release that, good. Inhale up. Good. Let's bring the arms around back to the heart center one more time for self-devotion. Cultivating our courage today by balancing our mind and body. So we'll move through a couple of half sun salutations together. Today I'm going to come back and face the short edge of my mat again where you probably were. Let's drop the arms. Inhale up. Exhale, hinge from the hips and swan dive down to forward fold. Lift halfway up with a flat back. And exhale, release back down. Inhale, rise up. Little back bend if you wish, hands together or apart. Arms around, back to the heart center. Let's keep going. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive to fold. Lift halfway up. Exhale, release down. Good. Inhale and rise. Lifting the heart. Arms around, back to heart center. 2 more times. You can always take a break. As you release down and exhale, let something go here that might be in the way of your own courage, right? Something to release there. Inhaling, rising, lifting the heart with possibilities to get stronger, more balanced. One more time. Inhale and exhale, swan dive. Halfway we lift up. Exhale, come down. And inhale, rise, maybe a gentle smile on the face, joy in the heart, arms around, back to the heart center. Take 1 or 2 breaths here, see how you feel. So notice now your right foot is grounded. Can we lift the left heel? If you have practiced Warrior 1, see if you can create the shape in your mind. And when you're ready, step that left foot back to Warrior 1. Make sure the foot is flat, right? The hips are forward. Just for today, we'll bring our hands to our hips, straighten out that front leg. Again, keeping the hips forward in this pyramid pose. Can we exhale? Take a little bend, hinging at the hips. Just to a flat back, no further. Just for now. And then reverse, hinge yourself back up again, back to your warrior. I'm going to tell you where we're going. There's 2 foot positions. We're going to chair pose. Feet, hips distance apart, or touch your feet together for more sensation in your chair. Please choose the foot position that's proper for you. Feet, hips distance apart will give you more stability. Now taking that chair, inhale, lift up, little back bend. And exhale, back to chair. Hands can be out in front with the biceps at the ears, or back to the hands to heart. Choose. Arms out, arms in. Let's come back to mountain, hands to heart. If you had the feet together, you could separate as we do the other side. Left foot grounds, right heel lifts. We're stepping back again to Warrior 1. Create the shape in your head, in your mind, and then step back into it when you feel ready. Hands to hips for pyramid shape. Front leg straightens. Hips square forward. Inhale. Exhale, come forward, flat back. Keeping the back leg grounded. On your next inhale, bring yourself back up and float back to warrior. Without overthinking it, we're coming to chair pose. The foot position is yours. Inhale, reach up, little back bend, and exhale, back to chair. Experimenting perhaps with your arms today. Let's come back to mountain. Find your mountain feet again. Good. Now can we add on to this sequence? So if it feels a little tippy, a little balancy, just stay with it, right? We're cultivating our courage with this. Right foot grounds, left heel lifts. When you're ready, Warrior 1. We've been here before. Maybe lifting the heart a little bit more now, digging in a little deeper. Hands to the hips for pyramid, front leg straightens. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, flat back. Now here, on this one, if you feel comfortable, if you feel that you're able, feel free to bring your chest towards your front thigh, dangling your fingers down for a little bit more stretch. So take this to the expression that will work for you here. Slowly, if your hands are down, come back to the flat back. Back to warrior one, bend that front leg. And we'll step back to chair pose. I'm going to add a twist in your chair this time. So inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, chair twist with prayer hands to the right. Inhale, bring yourself back up. And exhale, chair twist with prayer hands to the left. Beautiful. Inhale, bring yourself back up. And just bring the arms around and back to heart center. Self-devotion. We have one more to do. Choose your foot position. The left foot grounds, right heel lifts, stepping back to warrior one. Taking your time, no rush. Looking up if you'd like here. Hands to hips, straightening out that front leg. Inhale. Pyramid shape. Exhale, come down to flat back. Now here on the other side, a few of you went down chest to thigh. Hands dangling down. You can control this stretch. You don't have to, for lack of a better word, dump into it. You can control it with your core muscles. And even a little bit with your arms, right? Taking it to the place that's good for you for today. Back to flat back, hands to hips. Bring yourself back up. Find your warrior one. On your next breath, chair pose. The arm expression of choice at the heart or out. Then inhale up. Exhale, prayer twist to the left. Hands are next to the face. Good. Inhale up again. Little back bend. And exhale, prayer twist to the right. Inhale back up again and bring the arms around, back to the heart center, thumbs to heart. Stay centered, balancing mind and body. Take another breath. Now let's step wide on our mat here. So we're taking the long edge of the mat, toes out on a diagonal, right? So hands to heart once again. So if you're familiar with goddess squat, we'll do a little flow here. As you bend your knees for goddess, make sure your pelvic girdle is neutral, as if your spinal column is pointed downward at the tailbone area, opening the arms to goddess, right? And then just for today, a little fun, let's sweep the palms forward and up, and exhale back to goddess. Sweeping the arms forward and up. Exhale back to goddess. Take your time. Exhale. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale. So this flow brings in a little release again of anything that gets in the way of your own courage. Maybe people telling you, you can't do that. You can't. You're not strong enough. You're not balanced enough. Or maybe you're telling yourself that, right? That self-talk, that negative self-talk. We all have it. Pushing it away. Letting it go. Breathing through the warmth of your legs. You might feel yourself getting a little lower here. Let's make this the last one here. Good. Now, can we meet in 5-point star, coming back up? This time, a gentle hip hinge as we sweep the arms down towards the mat and come back up. Just a free-flowing little sun flow here today. So just for today, let's try to keep our head above our heart as we're flowing. So now we're sweeping away anything that's not serving us. And as we do this, notice that every movement ends with an inhale coming up. So maybe there's something as you've swept away here that you've brought up with you, something you found, something special. Right? Your courage. 2 more. So freeing, right? Last one. Ending in 5-point star. Good. And hands to heart. Just breathe, smile, relax. This is the best part of your day. Okay, so your toes need to come in now. So the toes face me. Let's try to practice that little half moon. So we'll turn our left foot to the short edge of the mat. And instead of finding Warrior 2 today, you can go through Warrior 2, but let's come into a reverse warrior. Just reverse warrior. Now without going into half moon, start to make the setup shape. So the setup shape is that left hand is going to eventually reach down to the ground in front of your foot, and your opposite arm will reach up. Okay, that's a little setup. Back to reverse warrior. Good, let's straighten out that front leg, bring the hands to heart, bring it back. Readjust your stance, and we'll try it on the other side. Turning the right foot, you can come through Warrior 2 as your setup, and then reverse your warrior is where we're going to start from today. Good. Now for the half moon, without going into it, unless you really want to, we'll take this right arm and just mimic like you're perhaps reaching for something on the ground there that you need to pick up, maybe drop something, right? And the other arm starts to slowly come up. That's basically the position. Let's come back to reverse warrior. Straightening out that leg, bringing hands to heart, feet back. Moving a little faster now, let's try it a little bit with the leg. Turning the left foot, Warrior 2 right into reverse warrior. So we're reaching down for that thing we dropped on the floor. Now let's try to pick up that back heel a little bit. Maybe you're coming up onto the toe there. And back to reverse warrior. Straightening out that front leg, bringing it back. Good. Other side. Foot turns. Warrior 2, come right into your reverse warrior. Now we start to reach like we're trying to get that thing on the ground, right? This time, maybe the back heel's lifting up a little bit. Maybe it's not, right? And back to reverse warrior. Straightening out the leg, hands to heart. All right, this is our last time, our last round. Some of you already went into the half moon balance. If you didn't and you want to try it, you're all set up for it. You can always go against a wall if you need to. Turn that left foot. Warrior 2 right into reverse warrior. Then gently look a little bit forward, as if you've dropped something, you're going to pick it up. And let yourself float into your half moon shape. The back leg can lift, or maybe it's not lifting very high. Over time, it might lift a little higher. Toes forward. Floating back carefully to reverse warrior. Straightening out the front leg, hands to heart, smile. All right, one more. We turn to the side, the right foot out. Warrior 2 into reverse warrior. And looking a little bit forward past that front toe for that thing you may have dropped. Back leg lifts, arm floats, breathing. The gaze is probably down at your hand. Over time, you might be looking towards me. Right? And then coming back carefully to your reverse warrior. Straightening out that front leg, hands to heart. Exhale. Notice if you were breathing through that, right? Exhale. Let's bring our hands to hips. Beautiful job. Inhale, lift up the heart. Exhale, come to flat back. You're going to take a nice little straddle stretch here. Feel free to float your arms down. Let yourself dangle here a little bit. Breathe. Relax. The courage, right? This is what we love about yoga. It helps us find our courage. Can we slide that right hand under the heart a little bit more and just lift that left arm up for a little twist. If that arm doesn't really like that extension, just put it on your hip. Exhale, bring that hand down, and then let's bring this other one up. Twist it out. Keep the hips very still, the legs still. And exhale that down. Good. Now a big movement here. The fingers are going to walk over to the left foot. Can we turn that foot forward? Keep walking. Spin the back foot and drop the knee. So both hands are inside the left foot. Then simply walk your left foot out to the edge of the mat. You can drop your toes off the edge of the mat and the heel on. Ground yourself with your hands for lizard pose. Take a few breaths. See how you feel. Let the hip open slowly. On your next breath, just start to walk that left foot back and then frame it with your hands. You might want to slide your right knee back a little bit as we're coming to a kneeling lunge. Hands can stay on the mat, or you can lift your torso up. If you're lifting up, feel free to try clasping your hands behind you as an option. A kneeling lunge. Breathing. Opening the chest muscles, the heart center, the lungs. One more breath. Exhale and release down. Both hands back inside that left foot. Little work here. Let's tuck that back toe. We're walking back to straddle. Little work to walk back. Good. Now, we're going to keep walking over to the right foot. Spin the right foot forward. Spin the left foot and drop the left knee. Lizard pose. Let's walk that right foot out to the edge. Hang the toes off. So the foot is really a little more diagonal. That's going to open your hip a little bit more. Some of you might notice your right knee is kind of opening out to the side a little bit as that hip is starting to open. It's starting to roll open. Couple more breaths. Relax, relax. Good. Exhale and start walking the right foot in. Frame the foot with your hands. Press the left knee back further if you want more stretch in regular kneeling lunge. Stay here with hands on the mat. Or you can rise up, perhaps with hands clasped behind you. Again, lifting the heart up, sinking down, maybe a little bit more in this. Breathing. Two more breaths. Exhale, hands inside the right foot. Pick up the back knee. We're coming back to straddle where we started. Toe heeling into forward fold. All the way into your fold. Relax here. Notice how your legs feel. We have one last chair pose. Do we want to keep the feet apart, hips distance, or bring the toes together? Bend your knees, elongate your lower back. Breathe. Just breathe. Option to lift heels for awkward chair. There might be one or two of you watching who are going to take your hips lower and lower and lower until you find a little thunderbolt pose. This is just a complete option there for if you're really feeling a little more assertive with your practice today. Right? We'll meet back in our awkward chair with heels lifted. Let's keep this rising all the way to mountain pose with heels lifted. Beautiful. Drop the heels, arms around, back to heart center, gentle smile. Beautiful, beautiful job. Can we turn back to the short side of our mat? When you're ready, inhale up, and for the last time today, exhale, swan dive down. Coming to the shape of our last down dog, bringing your hands out a little bit, bringing your feet back a little bit, and let yourself stretch, hips lifted, heels down, or working downwards. Allow yourself to stay here for a couple of breaths. Our last down dog of the practice. Beautiful work. Let's take one more breath if you're still here. We will meet in child pose when you've had enough. Dropping the knees, hips, heels. Observing the breath, letting it settle. When you feel ready to sit down, please find a seat any way that you can and bring the legs out in front of you for staff pose. Staff pose is an L-shaped mountain. Now we'll take our left leg, bend it, and bring the sole of the foot against the inner thigh of the right leg. If this is tight for your knee, remember it's okay to hold on to your own flesh and roll your left hip open a little bit. Roll that outer thigh open and that inner thigh towards you, and that may make your knee a little more comfortable sitting here. Relaxing the arms, inhale, lift the crown of the head. Exhale, come forward with your heart towards your toes. The hands can touch the shin, the mat, or the foot as long as they're gentle without pulling out of your shoulder. Breathing. 4 more breaths. Relax the body, relax the mind. Draw your belly in gently, bring the torso back up. Now let's slide this long leg a little bit diagonal, so it might be off your mat slightly. Inhale with a long spine, and exhale, twist to the left towards your bent leg. Breathe. The gaze follow the twist. Notice where your left hand is. If you're able to bring that heel of that hand closer to the hip, let it touch or bring it close. And then if you think that you're able to release your right arm, and maybe you can lift your hips up if you press on the left hand. If they lift up, lift your right arm up and tilt the pelvis forward for a little wild thing shape. It's almost like you've taken the pelvis as if it were a bowl of water and you just dumped it forward. Let's stay here for another couple breaths. If you like the shape, if it feels good, or if you need to come down, please sit back down at any time. Exhale, releasing down. Good. Let's change legs now with the left leg long, the right leg bent in. Again, maneuvering the flesh of this right leg if needed to protect your knee, to open a little bit more. Sitting tall in our one-legged seated forward fold. Inhale. Exhale, forward, heart towards toes. Check in with this side of the body and know that it's very different than what you just did. Both sides a little different. Over time, equalizes, right? Left and right side. Notice I said over time. 3 more breaths. Exhale. On your next inhale, let's draw your belly in, bring yourself back up. Inhale with a long spine, and exhale, twist to the right. Twisting always from the belly, lower body stays very still. So noticing your right hand, and if you'd like to try, bring the heel of the hand closer to your hip. Release the left arm and notice if you think you can lift your left hip up, take your left leg out to the side a little bit, as we did before. If you can lift your right hip up, if that'll work for you, lift your left arm in the air, tilt the pelvis forward and find your wild thing shape. And breathe. And stay here for as many breaths as it feels good, even if I'm on to cueing something else, right? Coming down to seated when you've had enough of the shape, with no rush. Good. Beautiful. Let's bring the legs together, getting ready to roll onto our backs. Feel free to extend one of those legs as you roll, knees into the chest, sway side to side. So coming towards the end of this practice, we're going to put the feet flat on the ground to prepare for bridge pose. Make sure your knees or hips distance apart as they should be in bridge, arms to your sides. Engage your inner thighs as you lift your hips up. Shoulders are down, the backs of the shoulders are down. If you'd like a little more stretch through your hips, lift your heels off the mat, breathe. We'll take 4 more breaths, or as many as that you can do. If your eyes are just a tiny bit open, you might see your belly rising and falling with the breath. Good. On your next exhale, bring yourself down slowly and let your low back touch. Walk your big toes together, arms to a T. Exhale the knees over to the left for your twist. Option always to extend that top leg out longer if you wish. Taking 3 breaths here. Settling the body down with these simple movements. Exhale, bring the leg back to stack the knees and slowly back to center. Inhale here. On your next exhale, we'll tip over to the right. And again, option for the top leg to move forward or slightly longer if you would like. Breathing 3 breaths, relaxing the shoulders. One more. Exhale, beautiful. Let's rebend, re-step, and bring yourself back to center. Let's bring those knees into our chest. You may want to lift your heart up, give yourself a little hug. Before we rest in Shavasana, as you lower your back, let your legs come wide and maybe a happy baby pose, holding onto your big toes with your peace fingers, elbows inside your slightly bent knees, and just rock side to side a little to soothe your body, to soothe your lower back, to open the hips a little more, and to soothe your soul, right? Courage takes a lot of work. And we cultivated that very much today by keeping our mind and body in balance. When your rocking comes to stillness, slowly bring the legs down, let go of the feet. Taking the heels to the opposite corners of the mat, the legs a little wider. Arms can be at your side with palms up as long as shoulders are relaxed. Some yogis put the hands on the belly, or even one hand on heart, one hand on belly. Close your eyes, and I invite you to stay in this shape, in this resting pose for at least 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. My suggestion would be to turn your device off. The Shavasana totally won't be on full camera here, so turn the device off. Maybe even covering yourself with a little blanket, closing your eyes. Letting this whole practice of courage just engulf you and fill you. Balance of mind and body. Thank you for joining me today. Take your time here in this pose. There's no rush getting up. Namaste to all of you.